other day in practice, there was a play, which was a goal line play. The running back is hit before the goal line, drags the tackler into the end zone, and the tackler kind of slams him to the turf after the touchdown is scored. Offensive line gets upset, grabs the defensive player, and slams him to the ground. There's a little fracas. I wouldn't call it a brawl, but there's a couple of players getting in each other's faces. So you might think that a head coach would get in the middle of this and say, hey, we're not fighting in camp. We're not fighting amongst one another. This is stupid. This is stupid. Don't start fights. Don't punch one another. We are teammates. We're trying to build camaraderie, bonding, and a clean football team.
This is stupid.
This is stupid. And yet Deion, he took a different tactic. Here was Deion.
I seen two of y'all walking off over there, and you got to keep teammate fighting. What they do that at?
Nowhere.
What they do that at?
Not here.
In one fight, we all fight. You understand that?
No, sir.
I don't want to see y'all walking off when somebody's fighting.
Yes, sir.
Never again.
If one fights, we all fight. So the message is, don't try to break up this fight. Don't try to calm the tensions. Get in there and have your teammates back.
Bring a chair.
Bring a chair. Bring a folding chair if one is around. Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, this video is available to watch because some college programs have closed practices. You have no idea what is happening. They don't want the eye in the sky. They don't want fans looking in. They don't want anybody questioning them. They don't want the scrutiny. Instead, at Colorado camp, everything is on film. Everything. With a camera crew that's like 5 inches away from the huddle and the field. Like from where the play is being run. They're on the field. And coach is always mic'd up, and they always have a camera in his face. And so these moments that all these other coaches have been hesitant, weary, scared of showing, Deion Sanders is asking to show. Put it out there. We want the whole thing out there. This is the show. This is the television program. This is the social media content. We are the show. So that's super interesting because if a fight breaks out at most college football camps, nobody has footage of it. And if a coach is saying if one of us fights, everybody fights, we definitely don't have that audio. And instead, Deion's mic'd up, documentary-style camera crew in his face filming it. And they put it immediately on social media for everybody to see and play the audio off. Okay, that's interesting. Number two, if this is a message that coaches do use, again, we never hear it because you would never have a coach encouraging fighting or encouraging joining the fight. It's always the opposite. But I don't know. Is this only because behind closed doors coaches say this, but out in the open they don't? Or is Deion on an island here where he's trying to stir the bonds and the loyalty and the camaraderie, and we all have one another's back? Or is he, again, saying something nobody else says in public, or actually believing something that nobody else believes? I would imagine there is not a practice that has ever happened under Nick Saban where Saban says, if one of us is fighting, everybody's fighting. I don't imagine. I have to imagine he has the totally opposite belief that if you're fighting in practice, you're distracted, you're emotionally too up and down, you can't be trusted. On Saturday, you'll get a penalty for us. It'll kill a drive or extend the opponent's drive, and I can't trust you. You know what? You're out of here. And I know that Nick Saban cannot believe that if one of us is fighting, everybody better join into the brawl, because that is not how you build a disciplined team. That is not how you build a team that is smart in difficult situations, keeps their composure when you're down by 10 points in the fourth quarter on the road at Auburn or something like this. There's just no way he would ever encourage this. But in some ways, I have to admit, I understand what Deion's messaging here is. He inherits a really bad football team, like arguably the worst Power 5 football team. Maybe not even arguably, the worst Power 5 football team. And he has had to turn over the roster. Now, whether he did that distastefully by basically showing it on camera, hey, I think you guys are all bums, get out of here, that's certainly arguable. But I guess, my guess is that Deion looks at a roster that was bad last year, a culture that's been about losing, low expectations, a fan base, an alumni base that's largely been detached and disengaged, and now a lot of new bodies, a lot of new faces, and scrutiny on the program for good and for bad, and saying, I got to get these guys to care about one another. I got to get these guys to believe we're all in this together. I cannot have apathy here. And if two of our guys are fighting because the offensive lineman thought that it was disrespectful that the running back was thrown down in the end zone, I don't want my wide receiver and my tight end walking off the football field. I want them in the heart of this. I want them engaged. I think, again, his tactics are debatable. His reasoning might be less so. The tactic being that Deion loves the show. And sometimes you wonder if he loves the show because it's about Deion or because he's doing what's best for young people or the program or whatever. It has always felt like Deion was about Deion. I mean, this dates back to when he was in high school and getting recruited. This dates back to when he was drafted and ultimately playing for the Falcons. This is when he was playing college at FSU. Everything has been about Deion, whether it was on the field, off the field, the brand, the commercials, the sponsorship deals, the endorsements, the free agent deals, the headlines, the television shows, the analyst roles, and now the coaching jobs. Is this about the kids, or is this about Deion likes the show and Deion wants to be a celebrity coach? I don't know. I mean, you'd like to believe that Deion really does have the best in heart for these kids. You'd like to believe. But I mean, sometimes it does feel like Deion likes what is about Deion first and foremost. But I don't know. I mean, maybe he has the best intentions. I really don't know. I don't know if it's the best thing in the world to also be stoking the flames on fighting. And you wonder if he just knows this is a good headline, if he just knows this makes for good footage and a good soundbite. He's encouraging these filmmakers, his staff, his video staff that he personally has, to film everything all the time in that office. Mark Johnson was telling us about this, that all the time there's the Colorado Buffaloes media team, and then there's Deion's film team that films everything. There's 2 camera crews all around everything. Again, is Deion doing this because he wants the best for the Colorado Buffaloes or because he wants the most attention to get him the next job? I don't know. Or to make him more money. I don't know that. But I kind of understand the idea behind this. If one of us is fighting, everybody is fighting. Because he's got to quickly develop bonds here, loyalties here, and a reason to play for one another. And if you tell everybody, like, hey, I'm not going to get on you if you fight. I'm going to get on you if you don't have your teammates' backs. That is a message. That is a significant message.